but there is just something about the introduction of a female that makes the men stupider. The boys had previously been quite cohesive, good, good behavior, got along well with each other. They were brothers. And then as soon as a woman was introduced,
Oh my gosh, is this Manjeet Gaming? I love you.
With each other more, showing off.
Oh my gosh, Manjeet Gaming.
Present
अबे
themselves
टी नहीं
as
लगता यार, मंजी लगता है सिर्फ मंजी
to
के.
be the top dog in the eyes of this girl. And I thought I could understand those dynamics if I was dealing with teenagers.
बैन करो यार
Number
हेला को.
one fan Manjeet. I love you.
It really was. I really
Me
did
too,
learn,
bro.
wow, this must be quite deep-seated human behavior. Because I don't think they've been socialized into wanting to
same.
show off for girls yet.
No,
this
they're
must
not
be
listening.
coming
Next.
someplace really deep.
Arman.
Bro podcasts yet at age
They
4.
were
But
not
that,
listening to Andrew Tate.
what a strange experience for
अब
that
तो
little girl to
आदत
be
सी
the
है
only girl in
मुझको.
an all-boys preschool. That would give her something to write her college essay about someday. I mean, I'm curious. I mean, it's hard to tell with the sample of one, but did you see her behaving in ways that would have been different if there had been other girls there? Was she more like a boy? Was she like, what did you observe in terms of her behavior?
She seemed pretty ordinary and a little bit baffled, to be honest, by the behavior of these boys. Like, why, Carlos, why did you think that hitting Edward was going to impress me?
Oh, so she was tired of reasoning with them, though. But so she was.
This is me imputing sophisticated thoughts to a 4-year-old that perhaps she did not actually have. But I remember seeing the boys fight with each other and then turn to her like, "Hey, look what I just did," and her just kind of looking at them like, "Why would you think I would care or be impressed by that?"
Interesting. I want to talk about this agreeableness trait. So, as my audience knows, I started an all-female sort of viewpoint diversity, intellectual dissident kind of community a couple of years ago. It's called The Unspeakeasy. So the podcast, The Unspeakable, created this community around it called The Unspeakeasy because I was noticing that women were coming to me and saying, "I love your podcast, I love the conversations you have on here, and I can't have these conversations with my friends, and I feel alienated from my community, from certain family members, from my book club, from the parent group, whatever it is." And it's not only like, intellectually disappointing, it's actually heartbreaking. And there was a cohort of women that, for whatever reason, were just not able to sort of go along with this agreeableness that they were seeing with their friends, who were then, of course, going along with the whole wokeness project, whatever you want to call it. And I really started to get the feeling that it was women who were not only controlling cancel culture, but responsible for most of the thought pools. I mean, these are huge generalizations, and obviously men do too. And every time I say this, I get people yelling at me, and throwing, a million counter examples. But how much of a hindrance do you think this agreeableness is with women? For
It's the root of the problem, because you can't, if you're high in agreeableness, then you can't tolerate differences of opinion or conflict. And then if you can't do that, then you tend to ostracize people who are occasions for conflict. If there's somebody who has a little bit too many rough edges, you can't deal with that, so you have to exclude them from your group. But I've been around on this planet for almost 40 years now, and I've come to understand that agreeableness is not a quality that I possess, but it's not a bad thing. I'm glad that there are people out there who are very high in agreeableness, and they have a role to play, and they're wonderful people, and I'm not better than they are because I'm low agreeableness. For a long time, I thought that I was, and eventually I realized that, no, it's just, we're just different. Everybody's got a different role to play in this wonderful world. But the place where the rubber hits the road for me is agreeableness good or bad for your purpose or for your instincts, right? Like, I'm very happy for women to be out there having their high agreeableness, but don't do it in the academy. Don't be a professor and try and do your job from a position of agreeableness, right? So if the big, the differences in personality are fine, but there are different combinations that are better or worse for specific purposes. And I think that one thing we lost sight of during wokeness was the purpose that these institutions serve, right? Like if you're the academy, it's not your job to make sure everybody's having a good time or to watch over everybody's feelings. It's your job to pursue the truth. If you're a lawyer, it's not your job to be nice and be therapeutic. If you're a lawyer, it's your job to resolve a case, represent your client to the best of your ability, and come to a conclusion consistent with justice, right? So these things are not good or bad in the abstract. They're only, suited or not well suited to specific purposes.
And if I'm understanding your thesis correctly, you trace this back like 70 years, really. Like you see this as a kind of, and I know you wrote a whole book about the baby boomers, which is another topic I love. But you see this as a sort of second wave feminist, out of the baby boom sexual revolution sort of gestalt phenomena. Like there's sort of like a whole bunch of moving pieces, and probably around late 60s, early 70s. The tenor of the culture started to change, and there was all these kind of blank slate ideas, and that boys and girls were the same, and these were all of these sex differences were socially constructed and imposed upon us, and it was our duty as enlightened, modern people to override that. And I think about this all the time, and it seems to me that this was useful to a certain degree. Like, I don't think anybody could really make the argument that it was a total disaster, like this never have even been embarked upon. But it does seem like there's been an overcorrection or a naivete, really, about some of these realities. So can you kind of sort of go back and where do you actually see this starting? Do you point the finger at Gloria Steinem and Phyllis Schlafly was actually onto something and we demonized her? Like, how do you think this through?
Yeah, in this house we respect Phyllis. We respect Phyllis Schlafly. But I think the biggest problem and one of the biggest obstacles in having this conversation that I have personally encountered is a confusion between second wave feminism as it was in the 70s or 80s and feminization as it exists today, because those are just completely different things. And even though one obviously led to the other. In the 70s and 80s, feminists were advocating for women to be reporters at the New York Times, right? Like there was a lawsuit in the mid-1970s of women who wanted more roles as reporters at the New York Times. They said, don't put me on the society desk. I want to be out there chasing stories. And, respect for women who wanted to do that. And at that time, women were 10% of the reporters at the time. And it was that way in a lot of feminist groundbreaking. Women wanted to be economics professors. And for a long time, she would be the only female economics professor in prison. She would be the only female lawyer ever. And that was great, because what that involved was male institutions operating by masculine means, admitting a few women who could hit with the boys, who could compete with the best of them. But then, without anybody really intending for things to change so much, women joined these institutions in greater and greater numbers. And then eventually, we went from having one woman in the English department to having majority women in the English department. And then once women were a numerical majority within an institution or a department, again, without anybody else intending we're going to decide that conflict within the English department is going to be dealt with in a more feminine way. Conversation with your colleagues is going to be done in a more feminine way. We're going to pursue our feelings and we're in a more feminine way. And gradually the rules of these institutions change to adapt to more feminine rules. So there is just a huge difference between women being 15% of the lawyers in America to women being 60% of the lawyers in America. So this is why it is such a mistake for people to focus on individuals, or to say, how can you say women are not well suited to the practice of law? I know a ton of great female lawyers and judges. Yes, I do too. Lots of women can, like I said, compete with the best of them. But when an institution tips over to become a majority female, it becomes hostile to men, and frankly, becomes hostile to those women who flourished under the old rules. Because it becomes more averse to conflict, more kindergarten-y, and it's just a night and day thing.
Are you suggesting that there was some kind of systemic thumb on the scale for women? Because, I mean, one of the narratives, and admittedly I have subscribed to this for the most part, is that, for a long time, women just simply were not let past these gates. I mean, you had men in the workplace, you had women at home, they could be nurses, they could be a teacher, they could be a nun kind of thing. But for the most part, if you were a highly motivated, intelligent woman, it was unlikely that you were going to pursue something beyond the expected course. Okay. And as soon as those restrictions were gone, women really soared. And the logic in some people's minds was like, well, look, women are better, so to speak. Like they actually, you take off the harness and boy, they can go. And it shows that actually on balance,
30 seconds
women do better than men for all kinds of reasons that we talk about, especially in like a kind of white collar, highly educated atmosphere. They can sit still, they can focus, they can concentrate, they're less physical, all that kind of stuff. So how much of this do you think is because women are sort of naturally adept at the kinds of things that the ways that you need to be in order to thrive now, or that there was some kind of push to give them advantages that may or may not have been fair?
This is a debate where I acknowledge there are good arguments on both sides. And I respect people who believe that the great feminization is a naturally occurring phenomenon, that it's just that we let women compete, and it turns out that they're quite good at competing in white collar work, or whatever it is. But my assessment of the facts and the evidence is that that is not true. My assessment is that the great feminization is artificial. It exists because, first of all, anti-discrimination law makes it essentially illegal to have women underrepresented in your company. The reason why so many businesses, especially large firms that are more vulnerable to these lawsuits, have so many hiring programs. The reason why managers are assessed at the end of the year for bonuses and promotions and other kinds of assessments on how many women they have hired and promoted, right? Like whether you're meeting your diversity targets and gender diversity, right? Managers, their careers rise and fall on these things. So the reason why these diversity hiring programs for gender exist is because if your company employs too few women, then all it takes is one woman coming along saying, I wasn't promoted as fast as I wanted. I think it's because my bosses are sexist. Oh, look, I did a statistical analysis of this firm. It turns out women are underrepresented. There we go. I got a lawsuit. Bring me a lawyer.
अबे साले चूती जाके होल्ड करने में फट जा रही है कि एक सेकंड में.
But yeah, corporate America aggressively targets women for hiring and promotion because they are trying to.
जाके होल्ड करो ना. एक तो साले चूती रॉकेट लिए रही हो यार तुम लोग. ट्रिपल सपोर्ट कर ले रहे हो लेकिन एक रॉकेट नहीं ले पा रहे हो.
I think Goldman Sachs holds the record for largest settlement in a gender discrimination lawsuit. That is for not hiring and promoting women fast enough. And the size of that settlement is over $200 million. Now, Goldman Sachs is not a fly-by-night company. They have HR departments. But the law is sufficiently ambiguous that it's not really clear how many women you have to promote in order to be in compliance with the law. How many women do you have to hire? It's really not clear. The law is ambiguous by design. So many corporations are paranoid about getting hit
Heal me,
with an
bro.
unlucky
सालो
lawsuit
चूतियो.
and ending up having to
साले
pay a 9-figure sum for not having enough women
मून नाइट
in their upper
भाई
management.
यार क्या बताऊं साले चूतिया ऑपरेटिंग में
Yes,
मारे
women
तो
are promoted in these companies, and these companies become very feminized because
अपना मैग उसकी सीडी को मार नहीं पा रहा, उसकी सीडी को अपना अपोजिट टीम का मैग मार दे रहा है, क्या चल रहा है?
So that's number one. And then number
आओ
two,
यार जल्दी आओ.
just very quickly, is HR departments.
अरे हीलर है यार, आके हील दो ना यार तुम लोग.
At the end of World War II, almost no firms had HR departments. Today, the HR lady at your company plays a really big role in what the day-to-day experience of your office life is like. That is the clear demonstration I can think of that today's office is so much more feminist than it was even 40 years ago. So yeah, women are flourishing in that context because men tend to have more rough edges at work. And when you get in trouble with the HR lady,
अबे साले अपना मून नाइट हार रहा है, अपोजिट टीम वाले मून नाइट क्या
aggressive or prickly or whatever. Women tend to keep their head down and be quiet and not get
बस.
involved with the HR lady. Unfortunately, the very personality types that tend to get in trouble with the HR lady most often are also the ones who tend to push innovation, be your biggest sellers, be the most dynamic, creative thinkers. So businesses that discourage those people or even eliminate those people. You know, if you get rid of everybody who annoys the HR lady and who doesn't fit into her clear idea of what an employee should be, you might exclude some scumbags, but you're also going to exclude a bunch of geniuses. So, yeah, the great feminization is one from aggressive, explicit targeting, businesses trying to feminize their office in order to be compliant with the law, and two, the HRification of every workplace in America, which is, in my opinion, a total disaster.
Yeah, I don't know that
हील
HR
मी
was
ब्रो,
even-
हील तुम्हारे चाचा तो आकर नहीं करेंगे, तुमको ही करना पड़ेगा.
90s. I mean, wasn't HR, wasn't that kind of a something that
और रॉकेट
started
ई
to
तो
rise up
प्लांट कर साले,
in the
तेरे से
1990s?
एक कोई रिवाइव हो नहीं पा रहा.
Imagine.
अबे जाके टच करो.
There is a scholar of this called Frank Dobbin, and if you go read his work, he actually has a lovely chart showing the share of businesses in America that have an HR department, and it's here in 1965.
अबे दे बे
here
साले
in
चूतिया हीलर.
1912, and basically now it's everybody. In the 90s, it kind of hit the ceiling, and everybody has them now. And a lot of it was because of sexual harassment, the Anita Hill,
साले चूतिया डॉक्टर ढंग का टीपी कर.
publicize the existence of this hostile environment. And to the point now where we think of sexual harassment law and hostile environment as governing sexual harassment in kind of the most obvious sense, like you can sue if your boss tries to sleep with you. But actually, hostile environment law encompasses a lot of behavior that isn't even remotely individually targeted or anything remotely close to a sexual proposition. A landmark case that I referred to in the article involved a shipyard in Florida that was obviously 98% male in its workforce. And these are blue-collar guys who women had pinups up on their office workspaces. You know, scantily clad. Because it's a blue-collar shipyard. What do you want? And there was a lady who worked there who said that she was offended by
साले उसके मैग से सीख साले चूतिया अपने टीम के मैग.
and also sexual jokes and things which were not targeted at her. They were just kind of in general. This is how the guys at the shipyard were talking. He said this made me feel very unwelcome, and I thought this workplace was hostile to women. And the judge agreed. It said that an atmosphere that deters women from continuing in a job is exactly the same as a sign on the wall saying men only.
अबे रॉकेट ई तो प्लांट करा रिवाइव करने के लिए, एक भी बंदा तेरे बीआर से कोई रिवाइव हो नहीं रहा.
मादर चोद हो रहा है, जो हो रहा है तू नहीं हो रहा है, इसका मतलब है नहीं कोई और नहीं हो रहा है. गांडू भड़वे चुप हो जा.
Very fuzzy. And a lot of times it's hard to say what is or is not legal or illegal under the law.
अब प्लांट कर रहा है साला चूतिया. जब मैं मरा तो प्लांट किया.
But could be cited in a lawsuit by somebody who's suing your company as evidence of a workplace that was hostile to women. And so this
पुल
is
डाउन नाम की चीज होती है,
unconstitutional
चूतिए
and
गमार बहन के लंड,
compliance
हिल्ले
with the law or
चुपचाप.
not. So they have to just
चुप बे
err on
साले.
the side of, well, anything that might make women
तुब्बे ताले,
uncomfortable
तुब्बे.
or might seem sexist or fratty, we just can't do it. Can't do it. So there are lots of companies that get sued just for having a toxic bro atmosphere, even though nobody was explicitly harassed or propositioned or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is like Title IX being implemented in such a way that if a woman feels uncomfortable for any reason, she is in the classroom, she's being denied her right to education, right? I mean, this is the way these things have been put forth. But I mean, it's a slippery.
अबे हील तो करना. रॉकेट जा भा.
Because I'm listening to you and I can imagine there would be somebody who's, you know,
साले चूतिया रॉकेट साले जाके पुश कर सकता था, टच कर सकता था.
साला बिहारी.
Energy in a workplace to be obsessing about guys joking or having something on, you know, a pin-up calendar on the wall. On the other hand, it's not professional. It's not professional to have, like, you know, pin-ups in the workplace. It's just this is a professional setting. That's not a professional thing to do. I can imagine. I think that there is some logic there. I also can think of an example. So I published this book, The Problem with Everything, in 2019. Actually, the same year that I believe the original Great Feminization piece by Mr. or Ms. J. Stone, whoever this is, came out. And, you know, I was sort of making similar arguments that you're making, that, you know, there's a lot of women in the workplace and that this is really dominating. There's a lot of wasted time with emoting and processing and, frankly, backstabbing and gossiping in a lot of these offices. I've certainly worked in a lot of these offices because I have been in publishing and media and that kind of thing. On the other hand, I have a friend who I wrote, you know, a very long section in the book on, who was working in finance, was working on Wall Street in the early 1990s, and he had ridiculous and horrifying situations with sexual harassment. You know, and when, like, she was the only woman in her department, and this guy, like, literally, I mean, I write this in the book, like, he like, somehow he had come in on the weekend to work and, like, jerked off on her desk. Like, all the guys had been there, just, I know, I mean, you know, they'd been, like, screwing around and probably on drugs or, you know, just intoxicated or just emotionally intoxicated. And she came in on Monday morning and there was, like, semen all over her desk. And she couldn't prove who had done it, but it was obvious that something had happened. And, you know, when I was interviewing her about this, I said, well, did you go to HR? Like, what did you do? And she burst out laughing. She said, HR? Wait, no, we did not have HR. Like, that was not a thing back then. And there was really nothing I could do. And I didn't want to be, you know, what she did was she got there, she saw this, and she called, like, the janitor to come and clean up the desk. That was her only course of action. And she said, I didn't want to be the person who threw a fit about this, because then I'm not going to get the next job. So, I mean, I think it...
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Make way for the King of Thieves. God's always be with my family.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
I hope you rested up on your honeymoon, Remy, because now it's time for business.
Rest? Maybe no. but I sure am feeling relaxed and refreshed.
Go ahead and deal yourself in, Cajun. The more cards, the better.
Gambit don't need a full hand to win, Fee.
The battle starts in
We'll time
5,
the aces on the
4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Either you're on my side, or you're next in line to fall.
Jump 'em up.
A nice deep freeze. Just in time.
We got your back. Could use one of these.
I suppose that helped.
A nice deep freeze.
Ooh, wait. That hit the spot.
Chin up. I like the cold.
Watch out. On your toes.
A nice deep freeze. You I was worried.
Now you do the same for me, Wee.
To me, Namor.
Got it good.
Can't help you now.
Ooh, wait. That hit the spot.
I was fine, but thank you.
Now you do the same for me, Wee. I'm on a phone. Enjoy that a little.
Vengeance is mine.
I'm gonna use that.
Can't keep this Cajun down for long.
Bro, are you guys AFK?
Dealing some serious
Oh
damage.
my god.
I'm hurt.
Just who Gambit was looking for.
I was in trouble.
A nice deep freeze.
Gambit never falls! Unlucky for you.
I don't have to be center stage.
Eyes over here, see we play.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
You belong to me!
Armed and dangerous!
My lessons to heart.
Squids, good. More arms to break.
You thought you got rid of me? How the chance? So who wants to come a Gambit to wake up the sleeping dragons?
I was fine, but thank you.
Ooh, found me someone to fight. Just the boost
Oh
out.
my god. Oh, 3 DPS? No.
Deep freeze. I'm hurt. You're halfway there. Keep going.
Always glad to help.
I was in trouble. Who have we here?
A nice deep freeze.
Who wants to come a Gambit to wake up the sleeping dragons?
Obey Namor's every command. Rest easy now, my Galactus friends.
Ooh, wait. Unlucky for you.
Get that vehicle moving again.
Oh my god. What are you guys doing? DPS?
We stop them here and now. They hit real hard. same for me, we. Ain't nobody stealing Gambit's chance to win.
You belong to me! I was worried. The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Maximum halt!
Let's focus on getting the Book of the Iron Fist to Showdown. Someone kill me up.
Ooh, wait! Eyes over here, s'il vous plaît.
I was in trouble.
Gambit never falls! Got me good.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Ain't nobody stealing Gambit's chance to win.
Never thought I'd get to go out. Hostile ahead. I like the cold. My life energy flows stronger. That's it! Don't let anything stand in your way. Our critic. Heaven! Fall! I was worried.
Laissez le bon temps brûler.
I need assistance.
Hey, hitting real hard.
I suppose that helped.
I found one of our critics. Get that vehicle moving again! Thank you!
Maximum Gambit never falls! Just the boost I need. Gambit got your back.
Gather around! Deep freeze.
Ah, that's better. I've reached full power. It's an octopus party. You belong to me! So much for me.
Gambit got your back.
Give me my kicks. Here's an enemy.
Got me good. Wait!
I am healed. I can so close. This is your big chance. I need some help.
So it begins.
Gambit never falls! Ain't ready for Rogue to be a widow. Not yet.
Only 60 seconds left. Get that vehicle moving again. Time to hurry. A nice deep freeze. He's welcome there. Down to 30 seconds. And this is why I chose Reed anymore. You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Make way for the King of Thieves. Make way for the King of Thieves. Make way for the King of Thieves. Sure a long way from the Big Easy.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Even the Sorcerer Supreme cannot win this battle alone.
Then how about you and me make a little magic together? Eh, Cher?
I will gladly fight by your side, Remy. But nothing more.
That's all I meant. Ain't my fault my accent makes
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shield! Merci! Hey, hit real hard!
This time I'm saving the music, old man. I am healed.
Just who Campbell was looking for. Time to remind Ultron whose turf this is.
Maximum pulse!
Your call. Now you do the same for me, Wee.
Who will help? Chaos from the depths. I am healed. Namor abused the will. He must pay.
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
Being stronger already. Now, a disappearance.
The moon haunts you!
Heaven never falls!
Us against the world!
An extra layer of armor.
I'm guessing those are the bad guys.
Now you do the same for me, Wee. Not be my last time, after all.
Get that vehicle moving again.
Heaven never falls! Know your business.
Now I'm mad!
We must cleanse this living planet of Ultron's influence.
Cover!
Double KO!
Gambit comes back for more.
tentacle!
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Gambit got your back.
I am healed.
There's gonna be a fight!
Mutant kind will not be erased again.
Victory belongs to Wakanda!
An enchanted object.
You're halfway there.
Us against the world.
Now you do the same for me, Wee. That's the last week they'll ever do one. Unlucky. You're mine. Kill that. Now you do the same for me, Wee. Ooh, wait. That hit the spot. That's supposed to hurt. My strength is renewed.
My life energy flows stronger. Get that vehicle moving again!
Gambit never falls! Gambit never falls! Unlucky. Still got an edge. Now you do the same for me, Wee.
Almost there! Don't turn back now! Friends! Get
Bring on the chaos.
Fast, guide my spear.
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum. I need assistance.
Kill that hurt. Who wants to tell them all? Unlucky for you. Gambit got your back.
Unless we
When I said no more mutants, I meant you, Logan.
You have my full support.
Glad I sharpened my sword.
That's it! Don't let anything stand in your way.
First, grace us with victory.
Creatures are no longer a threat.
My waterfall.
I'm wounded. Who will help?
Hitting harder than ever.
Us against the world.
No one steals with my people. Got a good one.
My life energy flows stronger.
Your nation.
I do not have the numbers to match them. It pleases me to...
Khonshu's will.
Get that vehicle moving again!
Ooh, wait. That hit the spot.
Love battlefield medicine.
Lovely beast. A shame they fight
Look
against
who we got here.
cleanse the It pleases chin up.
The moon.
Such destructive power.
Ain't nobody stealing Gambit's chance to win.
Maximum pulse. Render me assistance.
Now you do the same for me, Wee. Grace us with Gambit never falls!
So close.
Beast of Khonshu. Now kill that hurt.
Must be proud.
Unlucky.
Another epic victory! Big win!
have one task, my fist. Locate the Queen of the Dead and end her. But the path will be fraught with peril.
I have mutant powers and a little demonic magic too. If you see my brother, tell him I miss him. Limbo stands with you!
I was born ready. Do not succumb to the chaos. I fear this struggle may be as eternal as I. Do not make me regret choosing you for this mission.
Come, my minion!
Alas, a champion has fallen. Alas, a champion has fallen. Do not worry. All hope is not yet lost. You have one task, my fist. Locate the Queen of the Dead and end her. But the path will be fraught with peril.
I have mutant powers and a little demonic magic too. Doesn't your team need a bit of magic?